Oh, hold on. No.
Welcome to the Star Wars Stuff podcast, where we talk about all things Star Wars. My name is James.
I'm Mary.
And are you sure? You have to think about that one for a second.
I did. I was like, who am I today?
Don't. This is not
Who
one. It is
knows?
Monday, so but don't. Yeah. Anyways, if you heard Mary at the beginning say, "No, wait," she was just messing around because that's just,
Are you ready? There it
before we
is.
get started. Oh no, jeez. All right, hold on. I gotta start over again. Hold on. All right, before we get started, we have to thank our amazing patrons. Uh, we have to thank Liam McCallion, Kevin Leininger, Devin McCaffrey, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Dumit, Sean Smith, and say it, Adriana.
Adriana.
Adriana, I said it right. Look at that. Well, I said it right the first time, but then when you're on, I get nervous because you like texted us phonetically how to say her name. I think we messed it up the first time we did it. But anyways, how was your weekend?
It was great. I got to see the Odyssey and I
Whoa.
worked. That was, yeah,
Oh,
day job, Odyssey. I also adopted a sourdough starter. Well, I didn't adopt her, I bought her. She's my child now. I feed her regularly. Like, I did not know
nice.
how much of a commitment making sourdough is, because
Well,
I always
yeah.
just buy my sourdough from a farmer's market. And so the person I buy my sourdough from, she started selling some of her starter. And I was like, I'll try it. I'll try doing this. So today was my first attempt. And it was an emotional whirlwind, let me
Are
tell
you
you.
gonna post? Are you gonna post a video of you opening
I already did
the
that.
your? Oh, okay. Is it on your
See,
Instagram?
yeah,
All
awkward
right.
because I thought we were friends
We are
on
friends. I'm sorry.
Instagram.
I don't watch every single
How
one of your stories,
how
but
dare you?
anyways,
How
yeah.
dare you?
Okay. If you're following Mary on Instagram, go look at that. See how she did with her sourdough.
It wasn't great,
Um,
guys. Spoiler warning. It wasn't
Spoiler
great.
alert. Speaking of spoiler alert, my weekend was good. I worked and I saw the Odyssey last night or yesterday in the morning. I saw it early in the morning because the seats were selling out so quickly, and I was determined to watch it at the Chinese theater in Hollywood because it's one of 40 theaters in the entire United States that can show IMAX 70 millimeter. And I'm like, hey,
We
I
are
live right
very
down the road,
lucky. Yeah, we're
and
really lucky. 5 of them are here in LA.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty cool, and plus, it's the Chinese theater. It has history.
Yeah.
That's the famous
Star Wars.
video of Star Wars and everything. Um, so first off, everyone, this is going to be a really interesting podcast because we will be talking about Star Wars, but we're also going to be talking about the topic of this podcast, which is should Christopher Nolan direct Star Wars? Because David Lozano texted us yesterday in the group chat and said, "I know a way Star Wars and Disney can bring everybody back." And we were like, "How?" And then he just wrote us written and directed by Christopher Nolan, like Star Wars written and directed. And I was like, I thought about it and it hit me. Yeah, that would bring so many people to the theater to watch Christopher Nolan doing a Star Wars movie. What is your thought on that?
Um, I think Christopher Nolan is an amazing director. I think Christopher Nolan could do an amazing job with Star Wars.
Hmm.
I don't think Christopher Nolan wants to do Star Wars. And that's the only reason it'd be a no for me, because I don't think it's in the realm of possibility.
Here's my thing. So Oppenheimer pretty much gave him a blank check with Universal. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do now. So obviously he says, I want to do the Odyssey, which is, spoiler alert, one of the oldest stories ever told. And
3,000 years?
yeah, in the world, yes, exactly. Um, which any director saying that now is insane. Any director being like, I want to direct the Odyssey, and you're kind of going like, oh, how could you do this with today's technology? And you're kind of wondering how it's going to go. spoiler alert, he delivered. The movie was incredible. The movie was absolutely amazing from start to finish. And now it's like, okay, he already had his blank check from Universal. He did the Odyssey. The Odyssey worldwide has already made back its budget. In a couple of more weeks, they say it's probably going to when it's probably going to pass everything, including the promos and marketing and everything. So again, I think this movie will possibly go on to be in the near the $1 billion range. It's probably going to gross about $1 billion. Uh, Again, he can do anything now. There's nothing they can say no to. Any studio in Hollywood will say yes to Christopher Nolan,
I
which is
I
why
don't think they would say no to him. I don't think Disney and Lucasfilm would say no to him. I think it'd be dumb if they didn't try to get him.
I
I think
think they
Christopher
need.
Nolan will say no.
Ah, man, but he has such a love for Star Wars, and of course, he was asked if he would ever do Star Wars. I mean, not by Disney and Kennedy, but in an interview, and he was like, "No." He goes, "J.J. Abrams." This was back during Force Awakens. He was like, "J.J. Abrams was doing something insane." He's like, "I love Star Wars so much, I could not see myself doing it. I could not see
Exactly.
myself." But look what he did. The Odyssey. He did
Yeah,
the Odyssey. That
but
is insane that he
this is
did
one
that.
thing I'll say about Christopher Nolan. He has really original ideas and stuff,
Mhm.
which he's really great. But he loves to make movies out of stories. Like Oppenheimer, great example. He just took this guy's story and he put it into perspective for us to interpret certain things. He likes the stories about guilt and realization and civilization. Like Inception is great, right? But it really makes you
Mhm.
self-examine. Dunkirk, Insomnia, Batman Begins. He's a storyteller and he likes to retell stories in a new perspective. That's his jam. So what could he do? So here's the question I pose to you. He says,
Alright.
"Yes, I'll do a Star Wars movie." What does that Star Wars movie look like?
It looks very much like George Lucas's 1977 Star Wars, even before it was A New Hope. It would be very, very practical. The models he would do
Yes.
would be pretty much the same models they did then. Don't get me wrong, he does know how to do visual effects. He does do visual effects, but if he can
Well, the
shoot it in
visual effects in
camera.
the Odyssey were amazing.
Oh
He
my,
he
okay.
did such a good blend of them.
There's a moment in the Odyssey, I'm not gonna say what it was, but Mary sent me a video of, like, this is all the stuff they actually did on set, and there's one sequence where I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Okay, where's the digital?" Of course, y'all know they're on a boat, all right? They're on a boat. I'm not gonna say what it is, but they're in the water, and I'm looking at this effect, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna see digital water somewhere," when they pan the camera over to it, and they pan the camera over to this thing, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "That's not digital." I was like, "That is water that I don't what it how did they do this effect?" And how they did it is actually pretty amazing. But anyways, so his movie would look very grounded, very much like George Lucas did it, very much almost like how Irvin Kershner did Empire Strikes Back. That's
Well,
how
that's
the
what we loved
look of that
about
movie.
Andor, and that's what Tony Gilroy did, right?
Exactly. And I feel like
So,
Nolan would do the same.
but okay, cool. So Tony Gilroy could do it.
But the
So it's not
story.
so much we want Christopher Nolan, but we want more grounded effects and
No, 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 no,
storytelling.
no. We want Christopher Nolan
Oh,
because of his script, of his story, of his scale, and the fact. And then I'm going to say it, and I hate to say this, his name. You put Christopher Nolan's name on a
yes,
Star Wars movie,
that's valid.
that that's going to get everyone in the seats because don't get me wrong, Favreau's name is pretty up there. John Favreau has made a name for himself. Mandalorian and Grogu didn't perform as good as we were all hoping it would because it's Mandalorian and Grogu. It's been too much time since season 3. People were kind of like, what is this going to add to anything? But you
I
say, hey, Christopher Nolan wrote and directed a Star Wars film that brings everyone to the theaters.
I think it'd give a lot of people hopes and a lot of high expectations. I think I think it would be great. I don't think Christopher Nolan would ever do it
Uh,
because Star Wars is such a big brand and franchise that it would turn into him risking his reputation, Also, we just what we've seen is, like, how much of the story actually belongs to Disney versus the movie maker,
Well,
right?
see, this is where it
And
would all change. They would
I don't I don't
they
know.
would say, "Nolan, you write the movie. We're gonna give you this budget. You go shoot this movie." Like, that is the only way, and someone named Star Wars Stuff Podcast
Yeah,
listening said Nolan is the only name that's gonna put butt in seats in the seats, I think.
agreed. I agree. I
I
think
agree.
everyone would go see it. I think okay, maybe this is trauma. This is
Uh-oh.
trauma.
Oh, boy.
Um, my concern is we'll start getting interviews. Christopher Nolan's here's alternate reality. Christopher Nolan said, "Yep, I'll do a Star Wars movie, totally original story. Everything's gonna be
Mhm.
super grounded. I need a 60,000 foot puppet. All these things, right?
60,000.
I, all the things. I need to
Yes.
actually go into outer space, right? We're gonna get you a rocket. We're gonna put you in outer space to film these sequences, right?
Fair.
Sure, because it's Star Wars. So where else would it be? Um, we're not spending our entire time on this planet. It's not
Yeah.
happening. Um, so they say yes to all those things, right? Then we start getting interviews, and he's like, "Well, I needed to go to outer space to shoot this scene, and they wouldn't do it. So, I can't. It didn't go the way I wanted to go because I couldn't go to outer space, right? Like that's the reality. Christopher Nolan needs all these really practical, grounded things, and Star Wars, you just can't do that.
Did you see Interstellar?
I did see
He
Interstellar,
he
but
made
still,
he made space and everything look like it was there, like they were in space. He made all of
that's
that, all
valid.
those effects look absolutely incredible. Which brings me to my next question. What was your first Christopher Nolan movie that you saw? Like,
Insomnia.
Ins
I was
Insomnia?
I was in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. Spoiler alert, I'm 39 next month. I was a sophomore in high school when Insomnia came out, and my mom loved psychological thriller movies
Mhm.
and everything, so she really wanted to go see it. But my dad was like a hard pass. So she's like, "Mariana, come with me." And I was like, "Okay." So we're in the theater watching this. Robin Williams, like, I just could not. It was terrifying. But I
Yeah.
remember seeing Christopher Nolan's name come up, and me as a 14, 15-year-old kid, I was like, I never want to see this man's name ever again and stuff. And then Batman Begins came out next, I think, like, a year or 2 later, maybe, like,
Yeah.
2, 3 years later, and I was like, "Just kidding, he's cool in my book."
So for me, it was Batman Begins was the first movie I saw. I'm a huge Batman fan, and you got to remember at this time, the dark times. We went from Joel Schumacher's Batman's, which are
'Cause
fun.
spoiler
I
alert, you're gonna be
well,
39 in
I'm gonna
2
be
months?
I'm gonna be no, I'm gonna be 38 in 2 months, not 39.
Stop it, you're a
I'm gonna be
child.
I'm a child. There you
You're a
go. That's
child.
a great joke between Mary and I. Yeah, I'm gonna be 38 in a couple of months. So as a kid, I saw, of course, Michael Keaton, and then the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. And so when Batman Begins comes out, I'm like, all right, let's go watch this movie. My brother and I go and watch it. And I remember the reviews came out. Well, first the cast, when the cast was announced, I was like, you need to tell me Gary Oldman, Liam Neeson, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, Tom Wilkinson are all
Wild.
in this movie. I was like,
Okay.
what is this movie? And I didn't know who Christian Bale was at the time. So I was still
Oh,
like,
you
I
didn't
had no
watch
idea who.
Newsies?
I didn't watch Newsies. I didn't watch American
Sad.
Psycho. I know.
Oh,
Had a
American
really
Psycho.
a really rough
That's a good
childhood.
one.
I didn't know who Killian Murphy was either. I didn't watch 28
Whoa.
Days Later. So I went into this movie just like, let's see how it is. Halfway through the movie, I looked at my brother and I'm like, this is really good. Like, this
Yeah.
is stupidly great. And then when it was over, I was like, did I just enjoy a Batman movie like that much? And then The Prestige came out right after that. And after The Prestige, I was like,
Prestige.
all right, this dude knows what he's doing. And then I went
That's
back
the
and
one
watched,
with Hugh Jackman, right? Hugh Jackman's
yeah,
in
Hugh
that
Jackman.
one? I
Yes.
think
And
that's the
yeah,
only time Hugh Jackman's worked with Christopher Nolan. Because Christopher
which is a
Nolan's a
shame.
repeat dude. Yeah.
Which is a shame because he was really good. And you're right, Rutger Hauer. Yes, he was also in the movie. His name was on the poster, and I was like, everyone's in this movie. Um,
That's like
and,
his
and
MO. And okay, you want to hear my theory about why Christopher Nolan only uses big names and repeats like Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, all these people over and over again.
Why?
What I've come to learn about Christopher Nolan through interviews, things like that, he needs people who are not just 100% committed, but like 10,000% committed. He
Mm,
needs people like this cannot be your first movie. This cannot be your first rodeo. A Christopher Nolan movie is a project that's intense physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's always so demanding
that
and
is very
stuff.
true.
So you
That is.
can't have younger, not younger because that's not fair, but you can't have newer actors doing this. You need someone who's super seasoned and understands like what the end result will be and stuff and
Mm,
how to put in the work to get to that end result. Like saw an interview between Christopher Nolan and Tom Holland, and Tom Holland's talking about the movie when he was really little, and there was that like tsunami, and how they did this one effect of him
oh.
under the water rolling and stuff. And Christopher Nolan's like, I was always really curious how you guys were able to do that. Like, was it all tanks, blah, 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 and stuff like that? So, which was really beautiful to me because even Christopher Nolan, who's the master of this, is still like, I'm curious and wants to learn and be better and
Hmm.
stuff and figure out different things and learns from other people in the industry. There is no like hierarchy with him. It's like everybody just works together
Yeah.
to create this really beautiful thing, and that's why people are so committed. Everyone's like, "Yes, I would love to do a Christopher Nolan movie. Yes, I would love to do this and stuff." And then Tom Holland's explaining to him how he did it, and Tom Holland's this little kid. Couldn't be more than like 9 or 10 years old. They wrapped him up in a rope under his arm, around his leg and stuff, put him underwater, and then pull the rope like a yo-yo and had the camera underneath watching him tumble around getting unraveled from
Whoa.
that rope. That's the level of I'm willing to do to be in a Christopher Nolan movie and be able to be successful in it,
So
right?
y- you say all that, and I'm like, yeah, let him do Star Wars because he's going to bring all the names.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to say no to that. Everyone's going to say yes. And he would deliver probably one of the best Star Wars movies ever. Only, but here's I think you brought only if Disney says you can do whatever you want. I
Yeah.
think if Disney says you can do whatever you want, Filoni and them say, "Hey, you can do whatever you want." I think then you get yourself a really, really great Star Wars movie. He shoots it on IMAX, the whole thing, a whole Star Wars movie shot on IMAX. So then they have to figure out how they're going to do all these effects now that they did back in 1977, but now with IMAX cameras. So I have a feeling that him doing a Star Wars movie would be a no-brainer for Disney. Like get him there because Star Wars is not bringing in the people like it used to, and again, Marvel is also not bringing in the people like it used to. There's a this disconnect now between audiences, and so now these movies like Obsession, these movies like The Odyssey, these
Yeah.
movies that are not part of a franchise. I mean, I don't know if you want to call The Odyssey a franchise. It's probably the oldest one in the world. Um, the people are excited for this stuff. People are excited to see this stuff, and the names that Marvel name, that Star Wars name doesn't bring the people in like it used to. So we need
The franchise.
a refresh.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think franchise names are enough anymore. And stuff. I think a lot of people got really excited for Starfighter because Ryan Gosling was attached to it, right? And
Yeah.
he's having definitely a moment of creativity where we trust him as a creative and stuff, and we want to see him in more because he's coming off a Project Hail Mary and like La
Yes.
La Land, all these really great projects where he's like being like, nope, I can totally do this. I can give you guys something entertaining. You can trust in me to entertain you the way you want to be and stuff.
Yes.
When Marvel used to be able to do that and franchise names alone used to be able to do that. And I don't think it's that anymore. I think people are now getting to a place where it's like, I trust these specific people, like Christopher Nolan, right? Like to your credit, like that is very true in the sense of like me and you right now. I totally trust Christopher Nolan to do anything. My fear is that they won't let him do what he wants to do.
Fair. And
You know,
I
that's my fear.
I did see I saved it on my TikTok. This guy, he's really good with movies. They did a survey, and apparently like I forget how many the percentage of people who went to go see the Odyssey saw it just because it was Christopher Nolan. Like
Wild.
it was a huge percentage of people who said, "I'm only watching this because it's Christopher Nolan." And I was like, that's enough for I think in every Hollywood studio right now to be looking at that saying, "Okay, we need to get him." Every studio in Hollywood is offering Christopher Nolan a blank check right now. Like whatever you want to do, you can do it.
I
And this is the moment. This is that moment for Disney.
I hope it happens. I really wish it happens. I would love to see what he does because I feel like it would be a very original story.
Hmm.
Um, okay, here's a fun question for you. Okay, I got two things. Hold on.
What you
Before
got?
my fun question. So
Yes.
about the whole like trusting certain creatives and things like that, like Spider-Man, part of the Marvel universe, but for some reason, Spider-Man, Zach said this in the group chat earlier, and I thought it was so smart, and it never clicked for me. It's like street level heroes and stuff, so it feels grounded, it feels real and stuff. So there's not this like Marvel fatigue kind of attached to it. I also kind of think now, like as I were like talking this through, I feel like we trust Tom Holland.
Hmm.
Right? We love him as Spider-Man. We like him as a person. All these things. He does a great job and he commits to things and he genuinely cares. And so I think maybe that's what saved Spider-Man. So now like my question is like is just casting not where it needs to be for certain projects in Star Wars, you know?
Hmm.
So this leads into my fun question. Christopher Nolan made the Star Wars movie. What's his lineup of cast? Doesn't have to be like a certain they don't have to play certain characters. Or if you
I
want to, you
mean,
could be like this person as a Jedi, this person as like like in the Senate, things like that for like if you want. But
the
who do you
the
think
ent-
he would bring in to the Star Wars universe?
I think he would bring in Matt Damon because he's put him in 3 of his movies and
Just trying to
he
get the man
likes
home.
yeah, I know, right? We just gotta get this guy home.
Just gotta get this guy
Um,
home.
this poor guy. I think he would bring back because you know who's a big Star Wars fan? Christian Bale is a huge Star Wars fan. Christian
Oh,
Bale
he'd
back.
make such a good senator or
And
like some person in political power.
I'm gonna just say Christian Bale would play a Jedi because to
Oh
see
no.
that performance of him holding a lightsaber and the
Oh,
fact that you would announce to people Christopher Nolan is directing a Star Wars movie and one of the leads is Christian Bale as a Jedi.
mm. See,
Everybody's
no,
back in. Everybody's
no,
in. Everybody wants to
no,
know how this is all going to turn out.
no, because you know what? Christian Bale
What?
has nobody's trust.
I don't know. I
Uh,
think with the name, with their two names together, that's enough because of what they did with with Batman, the trilogy. That would be oh,
maybe
somebody does say he'd be a better dark side user, which is why I think it would be so much better if he was a Jedi, if he was like actually a good guy. That's just the way
I
I
can't
would
picture
go
him as a
about it.
Jedi. I can picture him in the Senate. I can
Hmm.
picture him as like some kind of like pirate or something grungy and
Mm,
stuff. I can even see him as like an inquisitor kind of thing.
okay.
I don't know. Maybe he's like just too handsome and too charming. I can't see him play a good guy.
Poor guy. Don't you hate when that happens?
When
Jeez,
you're
that
just
happens to me
too
every day.
handsome.
I always
Oh,
I always audition for all these roles and they go, "Ah, that guy's just too handsome. He cannot be in this movie." I'm kidding. I think he would, of course, Anne Hathaway,
yeah. Ooh,
fan absolutely fantastic. And pretty much everybody from the Odyssey, I think he would bring over into a Star Wars movie, and they would all be perfectly cast. Even the smaller cameo, quote unquote, cameo roles and the Odyssey were played by huge actors, like huge
yeah.
people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
everybody. Oh yeah. Killian Murphy.
Killian
I
Murphy in
mean,
Star Wars. I would love that. That'd be
that
wild.
that would
Oh,
be the
yes,
ultimate.
please.
That would be
I don't
oh
I wouldn't
fun,
he's
fun
one of
fact.
those ones I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't care what his role was. Just the fact that he was in it would be great.
If he was in Doomsday as Doctor Doom, I would be 100% more excited for Doomsday. If Killian Murphy was actually playing Doctor Doom, that would have been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
I would want John Bernthal in Star Wars.
everything. He's
He'd be
so good.
great. He
Um,
is. Oh man.
oh, and then Star Wars Sub Podcast on YouTube has a good point. Chris Evans, Brie Larson, Daniel Craig, and David Cornsweet would also be those actors that would come in and be like, please let us be in Star Wars, and we are committed to actually give you a great, performance and everything.
I'd
Uh,
hard pass on the Brie Larson.
nah,
I
really?
would hard pass on her, but David Cornsweet, yeah,
Oh, okay. I would say yes.
he
And the
was.
answer to your question, Alex, on YouTube, would Christopher Nolan even do a Star Wars project? Most likely, no. But after the success of the Odyssey, what we were saying is every studio pretty much has a blank check open for Nolan right now. So I think this would be the time
Because
Disney would try to swoop in and try to get him.
this is just a for funzy what if
Yeah,
conversation.
this is
Like,
a great what if
yeah,
conversation.
this
Um,
there's no base in this. We literally were just having a conversation in our group chat and stuff. And we're like, oh, this is a fun convo. Let's bring it to the pod, like
yeah,
to the listeners and stuff. So there's no base in this. This is
yeah,
all just us having a fun conversation of what if.
what if? And
Yeah.
then I would bring back Joseph Gordon-Levitt back into the
Uh,
movies. They worked
Leonardo
they worked really
DiCaprio?
well. I would not do Leonardo DiCaprio. Why didn't he
Ooh.
work with DiCaprio again? I thought DiCaprio gave such a great performance in Inception, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna work with you anymore on
You know
anything."
why? I'll tell you why.
Why? Tell me why.
Because it's that piece that I was saying earlier. I genuinely feel Christopher Nolan does not invite people back who do not have a great work ethic and
Man.
want to create something amazing. Certain people have reputations of being like, I'm the biggest star. Like I said, Christopher Nolan, he's asking Tom Holland, "Hey, how did you guys do that?" Because he
Mhm.
wants to learn, be better, and create something great, right? Him and I can never say his name right. Hoyt,
Hoyt
who is
yeah,
his
Hoyt von Hoytma. Yeah, the DP.
yes. Yeah, like there's no hierarchy in Christopher Nolan movies and stuff. Everyone is there together to create something beautiful and
Mm.
stuff. And certain names are as synonymous with like I am the star of this. What I say and do kind of
Well,
is what how I want to do this, right?
that's unfortunate.
Um do you know who I don't think will be coming back after the Odyssey?
Who?
Um
Don't you dare say.
Who do you
I'm just
think I'm
kidding.
gonna
Who?
say?
I don't know. Who you
Yeah,
gotta
who do you
say? I thought you gotta say
Jeez.
Robert.
Yes.
No, he
I
was
He was amazing. He was amazing, but after a few interviews and stuff, I was like, "Oh, Robert's getting into a different mental space in his life where I don't think he could do any more Nolan movies after the next
mm, well, send me those
what's it called?"
clips
Okay, well.
because I want to see because they're neighbors in Hollywood, which is the craziest
Yeah.
thing in the world. So they're somewhere
Well,
near me here, but and they have
well,
movie nights. They hang out. So it's like I
and
think.
I think Robert was the only one, like, everyone Christopher said he called, everyone was like, "Yes." You know? Even when he was offering it to Zendaya, he didn't directly offer it to Zendaya, he talked to Tom first. He said, "Hey, is this okay if I invite her into the movie and offer to her?" And stuff like that, and Tom's like, "Yeah, we'd be honored," right? And
Mhm.
stuff, like, "We wanna be a part of this." Robert was the only one who was like, "Cool, let me read the script."
I honestly think that's pretty cool of him to be like, "Yeah, you're Christopher Nolan, but let me read what I'm doing. I'm not just gonna
But
say yes." And
And it
I
creates a
think that's
mental space of like, I don't need to do this, nor do I have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like this collaborative piece that you need on a Nolan film.
but also
And I will say, in my opinion, in the Odyssey, he was the weakest performer.
I am gonna disagree with you and say I think I don't think he had enough to play with. I think
Oh,
Antonius's character is even in the poem is that I mean how much he was in the movie was how much Antonius is actually in the poem. So for
he
me, it
was in
was
it
like
a lot.
he has enough to play with. I was I was happy with what he did with that role, and you're supposed to hate him, and I think you hated him with everything, and I loved it. I thought he was great.
I
Um,
didn't hate him. I just
but,
thought he was sniveling.
but one thing I will say about Robert Pattinson is that dude is busy. He has what 4 movies coming out this year, so
Uh,
I can understand him saying, "Hey." let me read it first because
Oh,
I have a lot I am on right now.
I will say this. He has a lot, so does Zendaya, but Zendaya's role in this movie was significantly not
Yes,
smaller in impact, but smaller in time
screen time, yeah.
and stuff. But she's also got a ton that she's doing. Tom Holland literally had to reschedule Spider-Man to do this.
Have you heard the joke that, or it's not even a joke, it's real. He called um he called the producer Tom Holland calls the producers and the directors because he'd been filming the Odyssey and they had to push back Spider-Man. He
Yeah.
calls them and says, "Hey guys, just so you know, when we're on set, we need to know what we're doing. We don't no more guessing, no more we're gonna figure it out. We need to know, we need to have a plan with what we need to do when we're on set every day making this movie." And all the comments were like, Tom Holland made one serious movie with an actual director. Is like, guys,
So
we have to,
me.
this is how you make movies, guys. What have we been doing this whole
What
time? And
is
then like, yeah,
That's
and then
so
apparently
awful.
the giants, the sequence with the giants, of course, it's in the trailer in the Odyssey. Um, apparently he was like, "How did y'all do that?" He goes, "That doesn't."
Yeah, he was there,
He was like,
and
"I
he
was
didn't
there,"
know.
and everyone was like, "That dude has been filming with green screens his whole career," and then
Yeah,
he finally watches a movie and he's like, "How did y'all shoot that stuff?" And anyways,
yeah.
um,
That's so
Mary,
true. That is so true.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Alex says Robert Pattinson was one of the better performers. I thought Tom Holland was very weak because every time he was on screen,
Ugh.
it felt like I was watching Peter Parker. I think it's the
It's
voice. I
because the
think
American accent.
he didn't alter his voice. Whereas
Yeah.
I will say with Pattinson, he had that like he like raised his voice up just a
The
little extra,
sniveliness.
and I was like, yeah, that's what that role needed, man. It needed
Was
that. You just
was
want
your
to punch him in
theater
the face.
obnoxiously loud?
What?
The sound, was it
I can't
obnoxiously
hear you.
loud?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, because I just saw. Yes, it was stupidly loud. Okay, I should have known because if you saw the movie this weekend, you probably watched the trailers, and one of the trailers was Other Mommy with Jessica Chastain.
Oh my
And
god, why was there no warning about
why would
that?
there
I
was
was
no
so
warning?
upset.
There was no warning of anything. That trailer was super loud. And I remember looking at my wife kind of going like, "Oh, that was weird, right?" That was and then the Dune. So if you saw it in IMAX, you got to see the Dune sequence. They showed Dune 3, a little sequence of it. And that was super, super loud. And that kind of just set the tone for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is going to, and sure enough, especially when they're in Troy, the drums, by the way, Ludwig
Yeah,
just destroyed with
amazing.
that
If that
score.
man does not win another award
Oh,
this
he's winning
year,
an Oscar for the Odyssey. There's no way he's
I would
not.
be wild,
But the
wild.
drums on that sequence, I felt all my stomach and everything in my chest just going, "Do, do, do, do," and
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
wear my loops. I always wear my loops when I
mhm.
go to see anything in IMAX, and I learned this from seeing the last Indiana Jones movie
Oh, that
and
makes sense.
stuff. Anytime I go see anything in IMAX and stuff like that, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just bring them just in case," and stuff, and sure enough, like, after the first trailer, I looked at my husband and I went, "Yeah, they're going in.
Yeah, they're
They're
going
going
in.
in,
Yeah.
it's alright."
I had
Um,
my watch on, and my watch is telling me loud environment. This is loud. I was like, no shit, this is loud environment. Like, just calm down. It
yeah,
was really loud. And Alex on YouTube says Nolan's films are always loud, and that's
that's
very
so
true.
true. But
He
you know what? I
what?
think I hate to admit this, I don't think I've seen a lot of Nolan films in the theater.
What?
I don't think I have, like, Insomnia, Batman, like, the Batmans with, like, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and stuff. I did not see Inception in the theaters.
Oh my gosh.
If you
I
are
saw the
watching us
midnight.
right now on YouTube, James's face was so priceless. If you not, you really
No,
should
because
start watching us on YouTube.
I saw Inception the midnight showing. They don't do it anymore, but I saw it the midnight showing. That was my first mid. No, it wasn't. It was my second. But anyways, I had to go see the movie, and it was amazing. What did you
Yeah.
see? Did you see Dunkirk? Did you see Interstellar in theaters?
Nope, I saw those at home.
Oh
I'm
my god!
pretty sure, like, VHS and DVDs, maybe
Uh,
Blu-ray, just depends on the year.
did you
Might have been
watch?
Blu-ray, might be DVD, 'cause, I feel like at least a few of them was when like Netflix used to send you DVDs before it was only a streaming platform.
Stop
Because I
saying how
remember
old we are, okay? Jesus.
because I think I remember being like, maybe I just keep this one and pay the $20, and not send it back.
Star Wars stuff says on YouTube. I know it's all right, guys. Just so you know, it is David. Okay, just so I know we keep saying that online, but David said I saw Star Wars. I saw Interstellar on an iPhone 4 the way Nolan intended. Those are my favorite memes
As
ever.
Nolan intended.
Yeah, like I saw someone with a Shrek TV because when Shrek came out, DreamWorks released a little like square Shrek television, and someone had the trailer of the Odyssey playing. They're like, "I watched the Odyssey the way Nolan
As Nolan
intended."
intended.
Yeah.
I love the ones where
Um,
it's becoming like this religious saying as people walk by each other in the theater, as Nolan intended.
there's no people were saying that? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
That's
catch that. Oh,
oh, it's hilarious. I'll send you that video later.
thank you. Well, I
Oh,
got to
you're
the
welcome.
theater late because Hollywood Boulevard was closed down yesterday. Like all of Hollywood Boulevard was closed down. So to
Why?
get to the Chinese theater, I had to go down Sunset, which everyone else is going down Sunset. So
Were
I
you
got to
so
the movie
upset?
theater. I was a little upset because I didn't get
A
to see
little?
the curtain open for the Odyssey at the theater. I know that's so petty. That's so obnoxious.
I
But
feel like it wasn't a little upset.
I
Being your
no no
friend for over a year now, I feel like it was a lot of upset.
But I will say once the other mommy trailer ended, then I was
Oh,
happy. Then I was like, okay,
dude,
good. And then I got to see the Dune sequence,
I
and I was like,
never
okay,
wanna see
cool.
that. I wanna go see the movie again, but I wanna time it so that I get there after that trailer.
You know what was so
It's
funny about that
it's
trailer?
so creepy.
In my brain, I was like, that's an Oscar winner. Jessica Chastain is an Oscar winner. Why is she doing? And then as soon as the trailer
Because
ended,
horror is a whole new thing.
a dude two seats away from me, he said, "That's an Oscar winner." I was like, I wanted to high five that dude, like, "Hey, yeah, you and me both,
I feel like that's
both
the only thing you'd
pretentious."
hear said in Hollywood. That is very much a Hollywood thing.
Star Wars stuff podcast does say on YouTube, Damon, Hathaway, Leguizamo, then Pattinson were the top performers in my opinion. Ooh,
Ooh.
I think it
We
was.
did ours. We sent our
Yeah, we
top
did
5 to
ours.
each other.
Do you
What was
have
your
it?
top 5 again? I gotta
Okay,
pull
hold
mine
on,
up again.
everybody. We weren't prepared for this.
Hold on.
Where,
I
where
gotta
did I
find
message
that
you?
chat. I think it was on Insta.
Was it on Insta? Hold on. You're right.
Hold
You're seeing
on.
this live, everybody. You're seeing us scroll through our chats live on Instagram. I mean,
Top 5. Top
oh
5,
my god.
top
Okay,
5.
there you go. All right, you go. You go. You do yours.
I can't find it. Did I
All right,
scroll past?
I'm gonna say what Mary's was. Okay.
Oh, yeah, go. Just read mine.
So Mary said Elliot Page, Samantha Morton,
Yes.
John
Ah,
Bernthal, Zendaya, and John Leguizamo were the top performers.
those
Which
were my top 5.
my only issue with Samantha Morton was she was only in that one scene. But, I mean,
Okay.
mind you,
And she did amazing.
the character is only in that one scene, but I wanted just like a little bit more from her. I just needed like 5 more minutes of her being absolutely amazing. If she gets an Oscar
I
nomination for that little part,
She
that's going to be
is.
incredible.
She's gonna
For
totally get an Oscar nomination for that. Like, she did so perfectly with it between the creepiness of her voice and her, like, demeanor and pulling away and stuff like that. Like, it I just thought she did great. Like, I fell in love with her in, The Walking Dead and stuff.
mm,
That's how I got introduced to her, and I was like, "This lady needs to do nothing but villain work." Oh, hey!
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
I don't know if
Yeah.
I can hear you. I don't know if you saw
Okay.
me on YouTube. I was over here
Yeah, I
waiting
know. I saw that.
for you. Hey, come in. You are here.
Well, you can just allow me in like you just did.
I know. My first Samantha Morton movie was Minority Report, where she played one of the precogs.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
thought
I
she
didn't
was
even realize that was her.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
I
she was
didn't
amazing.
either.
So ever since that movie, I've always known
Mm.
who she was because of Minority Report. And fun fact, she was the voice of the AI in the movie Her with
No way.
no, hold on. She was on set recording the lines for him. And if you remember, her name in the movie is Samantha because of her. But when they were editing the movie, they said, okay, we need a different voice. They brought in Scarlett Johansson then to dub over all of her lines. So there is a version out there, Spike Jonze probably has it, of Samantha Morton doing the voice of the AI software instead of Scarlett Johansson. for her.
Have you heard the theory of why that happened? The
No.
conspiracy theory of why that happened?
What's the conspiracy theory? Because she had to do the Odyssey years later. No, I'm just kidding. No, what's the conspiracy theory?
So if I can get this all straight in my brain here. So when Sofia Coppola did, what's it called?
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation, it was about who she was dating at the time, which was Spike Jonze. And then Spike Jonze made her, and then to get back at her, she used Scarlett Johansson.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I believe it though. It might be real. But my top performers of the movie were Matt Damon, John Leguizamo, Anne Hathaway. I did like Tom Holland. He had enough time to shine in the movie. And Elliot Page, I thought was just tremendous. I mean, Elliot Page has always been a great performer, and then to see this, the opening shot is of his face. So not the opening, but like he has like one of the first lines of the movies, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Elliot Page is killing it, and it was amazing. I thought so good.
So I knew Elliot Page was going to be in it. I didn't know exactly who they were playing. I don't care if things get spoiled. Like, I like knowing nothing's actually a spoiler for me. So I like talked to David. I was like, David, tell me and stuff. And he was like, oh, you just see them in the opening and that's it. He did not tell me
you dog
about the shades and stuff. So then I saw Elliot's, opening performance and stuff like that. And I was like, what a bummer. I feel like I kind of wanted a little bit more from them. And then when they get to the scene of the shades, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
That
was my reaction
good. Too. And like that dialogue, you know what I really, I know, but not Star Warsy, but what I love the most about this movie in the Odyssey was the dialogue.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Anne Hathaway's like monologue towards the end when she's basically getting rage baited into doing the challenge and stuff. Like her whole thing, I was like, yes, girl, you tell this little boy what is up and stuff. And then so serious. And like the monologue between Elliot Page's character with Odysseus and Agamemnon's character dialogue with him and stuff. And like, I did not realize it was the same guy from Oppenheimer because you don't really, because you don't really see his face and stuff. There's so much shadowing. And then when he takes his helmet off, you're just getting a different perspective. Like you're seeing his back, things like that. And then when I found out that was him, I was like, no way.
And what I love about
that much of a demand, like presence.
What I love about Benny Safdie is he has a very soft-spoken voice. And so I thought that was such a great, just you see the armor, you see the presence, you see how he is, but then when he starts speaking, you're just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that voice. And it was still fantastic. And his German, was it German in Oppenheimer? That was like this. That was like disgustingly great. And he said, I didn't know how to do a German accent. And it was like, dude, when he started talking at Oppenheimer, I was like, I didn't know you had that in you, man. Like that was pretty good. But anyways,
yeah, that's ridiculous that he's a great director and a great actor. I mean,
and a great actor. Like
doesn't he do editing too?
Maybe. I don't know if he edited the Uncut Gems, but I know he and his brother. That's a whole controversy. He and his brother are never going to work together again. So that's kind of it's a bad how they separated. So one of the brothers did was it Danny? Is that his name? Danny Safdie did Marty Supreme, and then Benny did the Smashing Machine last year. So fun fact. Okay, anyways, David, my question to you, I mean we already know the answer, but why should Christopher Nolan direct Star Wars?
Because I can't think of anything else to bring Star Wars back to its former past glory. What else is going to do it? Jon Favreau couldn't do it with The Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know. I mean, we're such in the bubble that, I mean, we all revere Jon Favreau and we all know how he loves Star Wars and what he does. He plays in the big toy box and plays with all the toys and stuff. we got all that, even though it was disconnected from every storyline going forward and didn't push the ongoing timeline forward at all. But I just can't see anything else that's gonna, unless the Starfighter movie's just so great and somehow brings everyone back. It's kind of like almost where Marvel's at in a way. I think it's a whole lot less for Marvel, but I think people right now are kind of, I don't want to say done with Star Wars, but I mean, the general audiences are kind of just, when I went to the theater, I would see a lot of fans, but it was people who had like nostalgia more so than, oh, I'm looking forward to this specific movie. This is an event movie. The only event movies now are Christopher Nolan movies and Avengers movies, it feels like, and Spider-Man movies, apparently, because that thing's tracking for 500 million, right? Worldwide.
Wild.
The first weekend,
that one's going to make a lot.
The first weekend, 500 million. I mean,
that's
what
wild.
Star Wars used to do, you know?
Well, okay, so you're going to San Diego Comic-Con. What panels and things happening in Hall H that you're actually really excited for? Because that kind of tracks too with like what's coming out in movies and things like that. Like, what are people actually excited for?
Yeah, so this is really telling because the thing for me is every time I would watch somebody's video from San Diego Comic-Con 3 years ago and back, I was just wanting to really see the Marvel panels because they put on a show. Kevin Feige gets up there and he's not really that big of a showman, but he knows what the people want. And that's what I always say, give the people what they want. And he will tell us what movies are in the pipeline. And more so than not, those movies get made. And when you look at Star Wars, it's like we can't trust it anymore. You know, there's so many movies that are announced that don't happen and don't become reality. And it's a weird thing that's where Lucasfilm is, but that's where we're at. But as far as like big panels, the big thing is Marvel on Saturday. Everyone's gonna get in line on Thursday to get into that on Saturday. And there's a lot of Star Wars stuff that's happening on Saturday. And me and everyone else on Countdown City are like, yeah, it doesn't compete with us. Like the want to see what happens with Marvel is so much more than finding out more about the Star Wars experience, finding out more about video games and stuff. It's like,
I guess
I'm a Star Wars podcaster, and it's like I'm not even thinking about that as a possibility because I want to be there Saturday at the Marvel panel.
What it sounds like to me is like Star Wars doesn't have anything in the pipeline for us to be like, what's going to happen, versus Marvel has a movie about to come out that's going to lead into something else and all these other things. So there's more of an interest in like what's in the pipeline versus Star Wars. It's like, we know what's in the pipeline is Starfighter, and that's really far away, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It would still be tough if there's a Starfighter panel opposed to the Marvel stuff and Spider-Man stuff that's happening Saturday at Hall H.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my hardest to get in there in Hall H. I know it's going to be difficult, but
good luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's been different every year. Last year there was no Marvel, so there wasn't just the hysteria that we know now that there's going to be. And then 2 years ago when they announced RDJ coming back, there was a big crowd, but it's not going to be, I don't think, like it is now because you have Doomsday and Spider-Man, and you know all those actors are going to be there. You're going to see all the celebrities on the stage. So yeah, it's going to be like full force, if not like the past few years. 2018 is when they did the panel for Endgame. Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Oh yeah, D23 is coming up soon. So all this Star Wars stuff, the really things that we want to know from Star Wars is probably going to be dropping there.
Yeah. And also the tough thing is, I mean, they don't want to cannibalize themselves because Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel. So if you do Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con, which is where it's traditionally done, you don't want to do a Star Wars thing opposite of it. And unfortunately, I mean, my dream is to see like an X-Men announcement and see the X-Men cast.
Oh, I would love that.
I mean, we're all assuming this isn't a spoiler because I don't know. But I think we're all thinking that Sadie Sink is going to be Jean Grey. I think that's what we're all thinking. So that's one cast member.
Sense.
And then, of course, I don't think you guys talked about this, but Adam Driver is been rumored. He was rumored to play Magneto, and then they switched it up and said he's going to play Mr. Sinister, which I can see him playing both.
I could too.
And
I think he would do great in both. See, I would love to see Adam Driver come back in Star Wars under Christopher Nolan. Imagine what he could do under Christopher Nolan. Or is he just too synonymous with Kylo Ren that you couldn't do that with him?
Well, you could still play Kylo Ren. You could still play Ben Solo. I mean,
that's true.
He's aging. I hate it when they age out, and they might have to use, like George Lucas said, or who said? I'm trying to think of the director that said, Andy Serkis for The Hunt for Gollum. He said the only time we're using AI is to de-age actors. I mean, it's like
womp, womp, womp.
Adam Driver wants to come back to Star Wars. We already know this. He developed the script and he loved it with. If James were here, he could probably tell me the name of the director. Who's Steven Soderbergh? Yeah, had to go through the Rolodex. He was on board, but now he's like, I'm never coming back. I'm never going to do anything. I moved on, and which is bad. But maybe it's one of those things where it's like silver linings, and Christopher Nolan does that. He wants to bring Kylo Ren back, but
that'd be crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna pose a question to you. If Christopher Nolan made a Star Wars movie, what do you think it would look like?
I think it would look like the Odyssey. That's what I think it would look like.
Super dramatic, super practical, super dark.
Well, yeah, that's of course he wouldn't go full-fledged CGI. And when I walked out of the Odyssey, when I saw it, I was telling myself, I was like, this feels possibly in the same tone that we would get that movie that they said they wanted to do, where it was a story about the first Jedi or the beginnings of the Jedi 20,000 years ago. That's kind of what it felt like to me, almost like a biblical type thing.
That makes sense to me, where it's like a lot more practical. It's the creating of Jedi and the Force and understanding that piece, because that feels like Christopher Nolan, of like that storytelling piece that he loves to do. Let me tell you how Jedi came to be.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I could see that.
And do you think he would put the title at the end of the movie like he always does? For a Star Wars movie?
Jedi, where'd they come from? What would the movie title be?
I don't know, but every Nolan movie, the ending of the movie is the title. Like, he shows the title of it. And so I'm just wondering, like, if he did a Star Wars movie, if they would do
it'd be the title, then the like iris out.
Yeah.
And then dun, 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 dun.
Can you imagine seeing that
I could imagine that.
And written and directed by Christopher Nolan? Like, that would just be
Do you think he'd get a crawl?
I think Nolan, staying true to Star Wars and what it is, he would do a crawl. He would do everything. The fanfare, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the crawl, the pan down, everything. But it would all be done in IMAX.
I can't believe we're having that conversation. Would there be a crawl in Star Wars? Yes, there's supposed to be a crawl in Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
I agree.
The crawls are in the comic books, the video games, all the media beforehand. And it's like, why did they take it out?
The books, like when you look at the book, it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You open it up, and then there's like a prologue, and that's the caption. Yeah, she has it tattooed on her.
It's literally on my arm.
Tattooed on her arm.
Here, this is what we'll do. Every time we go see a Star Wars movie, I'll go with you, and then I'll just put my arm in front of you. You can read it there, and then the movie will start.
Perfect. You're right. Rogue One didn't have a crawl, Alexander Wilson on YouTube, but they still didn't. They didn't do words, right? But they did say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then they just went boom, and they
They should have did the thing that they gave us at Celebration. Show the episode 4 crawl and then have it bend at that one section. And then have the background like yelling and blaster fire. It was so good. They had it right there. It was so good.
That was the best teaser trailer for Star Wars. Like showing the crawl and then just showing the.
You know what? You know what I love? I love how
like?
excited all three of us are right now about this.
Well, yeah, because about this topic or about Star Wars in general? No, about Nolan doing a Star Wars movie.
The crawl, these things that we love about Star Wars, and it's like, why can't we just do this?
Yeah, why can't? I mean, and I think what David said, to get people back into Star Wars, to get Star Wars back to the masses, you need a director to do it now. I think that's Christopher Nolan. The only other director, never mind. I was gonna say the only other director I think people would trust, but he's not as mainstream as he should be, is probably Alfonso Cuarón. I think he would also be somebody, but visually he would be able to do it, but his name alone wouldn't be able to bring people in.
I think this is a little bit of Sean Levy too, right? Like we all heard Sean Levy's doing a movie. We trust Sean Levy. We loved what he did with certain other things and stuff. You know, he's a good. He picks a good cast. He knows how to work with people. He knows how to tell a story. He knows how to connect people and make things fun, but also interesting and intriguing, and like keep you, invested in it. I think Sean Levy's. I think Sean Levy like. He's an easier get, he's easily digestible. Like Christopher Nolan has this big name. He has a very specific way he tells stories in his movies. Sean Levy is maybe a little bit more flexible, maybe a little bit more of a pushover. I don't know. I don't think Sean Levy would be the type. I think he really wanted to do Star Wars. So if they were like, no, pushing back on some of his stuff, he would just kind of cave. I don't think Christopher Nolan ever would.
No, there's no way a studio can tell Christopher Nolan what to do now. I mean,
I don't think they can tell him what to do before.
Yeah, even before the Odyssey. I don't think he's that guy. I just think he could do the project.
He said Oppenheimer was a bigger movie than what they were expecting.
I know what he said. I heard that too. I was like, bro, you're being humble.
He had no idea it was going to make that much money.
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone quite thought it was going to be that big a success, but
I see where he's coming from, though.
Yeah,
the subject matter, you know what I mean. It was weird that we were hyped for this movie about Oppenheimer, and a lot of us saw the name Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
And then we saw Cillian Murphy finally the lead of a Christopher Nolan movie. So we're like, okay, let's see how this goes. And in my brain, when it was coming out, of course, we had the whole Barbenheimer thing. But in my brain, I'm like, there's no way Oppenheimer is going to perform as big as any other like big movie. Like there's the audience. I don't think the audiences are going to be excited for this movie. Everyone was excited for Oppenheimer. I knew people who went to go watch it like 3 times in theaters. Like people loved Oppenheimer. And then, he said right after that, Universal was kind of like, all right, what's next? And he was like, the biggest thing I can think of is the Odyssey. And that's insane. He did what James Cameron did with calling the movie, Titanic. He's like, I'm going to make a movie about Titanic. I'm going to call it Titanic. Like, this is what it's going to be about. It's going to be huge. It's going to be big. It's going to be epic. And Nolan said, I'm going to do the Odyssey. It's going to be huge. It's going to be big. It's going to be epic. And I'm going to shoot it all with IMAX cameras. So figure out a way to make that possible. And they built cameras just for this, or the housing just for this movie. And
they called it the blimp.
And have you seen it? It's huge. They had to put mirrors on the camera so the actors could keep the eye line with each other.
It's like one of those smart cars.
Exactly. Because the camera's so big you can't see the actor you're talking to because it's covers everything. Anyways, but somebody said, "Oh yeah, Ryan Coogler and Dan Tracken." Yeah,
that would be Ted with Camp Den City Geeks.
But those names aren't enough to bring people in, and that's what it is.
That's the problem. No. I think Ryan Coogler totally could. Dan Trachtenberg, maybe not. Like Ryan Coogler, he's coming off of some good stuff. Sinners. I mean,
Sinners.
I never thought Sinners would do that good, and it did great.
Sinners is really good.
Exactly.
Sinners was better than Black Panther.
Whoa.
Well, I didn't like Black Panther that much. So I'm gonna say,
Whoa.
yeah, I agree with you.
I think Sinners, I loved the movie. When I first heard about it, I was all like, what? What do you mean? I
When
don't. Another vampire movie? This is odd. And then I
when
saw it
I
and I was like,
first
yep, nope, this is great. This is great.
I was gonna say when I first heard about it, I thought From Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, let's see how
Mm.
this goes. And anyways, don't worry about that.
And he just did a
Um,
great job building all the lore into it, like Al Capone
Yes.
and the indigenous people.
so effortlessly too. Like nothing was
Yeah,
forced in that
yeah.
movie. And I was like, as like halfway through the movie, I remember thinking, this is he's delivering the goods. And of course, the third act of the movie is just amazing.
And
Ryan
that's what
Like
Coogler
great
doing
Star Wars is.
Ryan
Putting
Coogler
in
doing
those
a
like
Star Wars
seedlings of
horror.
stuff. I'm sorry,
Star Wars
Marion. Keep on
horror.
talking over you.
It's okay.
Ryan
You're
Coogler.
good. We're all just excited. We're just all excited.
I-
Imagine Ryan Coogler doing a Star Wars horror movie, like a
Nah,
psychological thriller. Why not? Why
because
not?
he only made Sinners. You know what I mean? Like that's the only psychological. Everything else is kind of, I will say his Creed was amazing. I thought Creed, I expected zero from that movie, and when that movie ended, I was very, very happy with it.
That's why you thought it was
Um,
amazing.
yeah, but then when I saw Black Panther, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks really bad. The visual effects were really terrible in that movie, and that
Yeah, they
distracted
were.
me so much from that movie. Which I know it shouldn't, but I remember I forget what scene it was. I'm watching it, I'm like, that looks like a cartoon. Anyways, Sinners was great, but I couldn't see Ryan Coogler's name bringing audiences in like that. Like, I just can't see it. But
I'd go see it.
I mean, yeah, of course we're gonna go watch it, but
Yeah, we're all going to go see it, but is
yeah,
Grandma
I mean-
going to go see it? That's the question.
And like I said
Ryan
before,
Coogler's going to pull a younger crowd for sure.
and like we said before, Nolan's name is what brought in a huge percentage of people just to watch the Odyssey. People who don't even go to the movies that much a year said, I'm going to go watch this movie because it's by Christopher Nolan. And
Do you think it's
name.
that, or do you think it's the Odyssey, though? Because the Odyssey is a timeless story that every generation has seen a version of, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's Wishbone or The Simpsons, or you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
brother, art thou?
oh, there's always an Odyssey story for every generation. And so do you think it's 100% Christopher Nolan? Do you think it's like 95, 80% Christopher Nolan, 10% the Odyssey, the title of the story of the Odyssey? Because in my brain, I think it's maybe 70-30, maybe 60-40. 60% the Odyssey, 40% Nolan.
I
What do you got,
totally
David?
disagree with that. I think it's
Really?
90% Nolan.
Really?
It's when you look at it online, it's almost like it doesn't even matter what he made a movie about. You're going to go see the Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan made another movie. We got to go see it in IMAX 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
That's like the big thing right now. It's like no matter what he does, everyone's going to go see it. The first rumors about this movie wasn't the Odyssey. It was about a helicopter movie starring Tom Holland and Zendaya in like South America or something.
That's right.
And everyone's like, yes, we're going to go see that. It's going to be great. And then it turns out to be the Odyssey, and still the reactions are the same. Okay, great. Yeah, we're going to go see it anyways. So it's like, no matter, that's why I brought it up in the chat yesterday. It's like, no matter what he does, and it's going to feel crazy saying this, all the young people want to go see anything he does.
Yeah.
The whole like Instagram generation, the whole, I can't say Facebook. I think
TikTok.
some people treat Facebook that's.
Do they
for
still
old
use
people.
TikTok, or is that done?
Yes, the TikTokers, all the influencers.
You guys still use TikTok? I don't know.
even though they didn't hold any influencer screenings for the Odyssey, they still hyped it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hyped it up even more was when Universal said, we're not inviting influencers to watch this movie. And people were like, thank you.
Yeah. I think every major motion production company was waiting for another major one to be like, nope, we're done doing that and stuff. We're done using influencers.
I hope that changes the trend because it's so stupid when you see that. You're like, oh, come on. But
Well, people are starting to be like, "Oh, how honest is this review?"
yeah,
You're a
because
part of their marketing team now.
exactly. Yeah, I will say when you talk to people who have watched Batman, the one thing people will always tell you, I saw the one with Heath Ledger. Like they have no idea that it's called The Dark Knight, that it's the second movie that is directed by Christopher Nolan, but everybody has seen The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger as the Joker. And I just think for a lot of people that was the beginning of them like saying, "Oh, let's watch Inception, let's watch The Dark Knight Rises." And then his career just exploded and every movie got bigger and just and it's crazy that the name, like David said, the name is pretty much what got people on board. I mean, I'm a
With
big fan
Heath
of the
Ledger?
Odyssey. No, I'm talking about
Oh,
Christopher Nolan. I'm a big fan of the Odyssey.
understood.
I've always loved the Odyssey because it's a fun story. It's the classic coming home and trying to get home, and then once you're home, you just murder everybody, and it's such a simple, straightforward story. But there's a lot going on psychologically, and then to know that Christopher Nolan was doing it, like I wonder how that talk went with his wife Emma Thomas. If he was like, "Hey, so I know we just did Oppenheimer. I know we both just won Oscars. We've both been knighted, or she's now Dame Emma Thomas. He's not Sir Christopher Nolan. He's like, so I want to do the Odyssey next. Like, I wonder what her reaction was to that
Those
initial.
that level of high level of like creatives and stuff like that, like they just have an understanding. Our projects are our lives and
Yeah,
stuff. And that's where they find their
but how?
marriage within it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that has to be interesting. Coming home after work and being like, all right, let's not talk about anything we did, and don't yell at me for the budget. Let's just be normal. But from what I hear, that production went like 10 days. It finished 10 days early, and they were under budget when they finished the
Well,
Odyssey.
it's because they all knew what they were supposed to do.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But
The-
anyways,
There's a real funny video, I think, on Instagram or social media where there's a guy, he's just like walking on the sidewalk and he's like talking about his day. And he pans the camera over and he's just like filming like the street or whatever, or store or something. And he brings it down and like right in front of him is like Christopher Nolan with walking his dog. And he goes, "Oh
Aw.
crap, Christopher Nolan, how are you doing?"
I saw the one where it was the LA Marathon, and the dude running stopped running. He said, "Hold on," and and you're like, "What's he doing?" And he goes, "Hey man, just want to say I loved Oppenheimer." And like the camera pans up,
And it was weird
like, "Oh,
because
thanks."
Christopher Nolan was in like a t-shirt, not in
shorts.
a suit. We always see him in a suit, so he looked like really different. But yeah, he was just walking his dog.
Yeah, I saw pictures of him with his son, and they're out with the dog, and I'm like, look at Christopher Nolan just being a dude. Like he's just a dude with his son and his dog. And for us, we see him always like David said, he's always in a suit, he's always in a jacket, he's always on set, and like he's always dressed professionally. Then to just see him as a normal guy is very interesting, in my opinion.
It's weird to me that you guys think that's weird. What do you expect? What? Yeah,
I
he's a
don't-
person.
I
No,
know.
he's
video
not.
of
He's like a
him.
god man.
Yeah.
Stop it.
He's
He's
like some
there's a-
type of
The-
film god.
Do you
No,
realize the run
stop.
he had
He's a
from
person.
Batman Begins to the
Oh my
Prestige to the Dark
God.
Knight to Inception? That
Oh,
run
Lord.
alone is any director would kill for that run, and he did it just boom, 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 boom.
There's
No
a
problem.
video of him at the movie theaters watching a movie, eating popcorn just on his own. And then you hear the guy and the girl at the theater taping and be like, dude, I think that's Christopher Nolan right there. And stuff.
Well,
And she's like, who's that?
he
And he's like,
he was
he
just
made this
walking
movie.
at City Walk the other day. Someone posted online at City Walk. They're like, Christopher Nolan just literally walked through the middle to go to the AMC theater, and nobody stopped him. I
Well,
was
yeah.
like, I would have freaked out. I would have been like,
Oh my gosh.
what do I say? What do I say?
Can't-
I don't know.
Nothing. You leave the man alone. Let him
I
go
know,
watch
but-
his movie.
So, David, what was your first Christopher Nolan movie?
You're gonna hate me, James.
What? The Dark Knight?
So I knew about Christopher Nolan a long time ago. A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
No, this galaxy.
Oh, got it.
But I was like, okay, I need to find out about this guy. I haven't seen Memento, so I went to. Maybe I was. What year did Memento come out? On DVD.
2000. Oh, the DVD. I think it was 2002, but the movie came out in 2001.
Okay, so I think I
VHS.
went to. I wasn't working at Hastings anymore, but I went back there and I just bought Memento. I hadn't even seen it yet because I think he got an award. I think it was like the MTV Movie Awards or something of like up and coming director or breakout director or something, whatever. But he walked up in a suit like he always is. He was super serious, gave just a very plain acceptance speech. And I heard of people online at that time. What were we online at the time? I just heard stuff. I heard stuff. Okay.
I heard things.
So I heard a lot of things, and this movie was really great. So I didn't rent it. I bought it, and I still might have the actual movie in my movie closet. But I put it in. I started watching it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Carrie-Anne Moss is in it. And it just got too convoluted, man.
Oh,
I never finished it.
No, really?
I was like bored. I was like, I'm gonna have to figure all this stuff out. I was like,
That's not the movie to start with. Yeah, that's a rough one to start with.
But that got him Insomnia, which is pretty good. You know what I mean?
I never saw that.
So Insomnia came out in 2002.
Yeah.
So Memento had to be like 2000.
Okay, gotcha. Because I remember
that was so like underplayed and underhyped because it had Pacino and Robin Williams.
Insomnia,
but it was a dark. It was because Robin Williams was playing the villain. I remember that was kind of like the big selling point was Robin Williams is not the good guy in this movie. He's not the funny guy. He's kind of a creep. And I remember I was like, okay. But I watched that movie and it's my least favorite Nolan movie. And I looked, I was like, oh, he didn't write it. That was a studio movie. He came in and he had to just make it his own using his style with someone else's script and someone else producing. And then Insomnia got him in for Batman, which to this day doesn't make sense that they were like, oh yeah, you want to direct Batman? Go for it.
Well, Darren Aronofsky was supposed to direct that first and then he dropped out, right?
And thanks to Darren Aronofsky, that kept Batman relevant for Warner Brothers for all those years after Schumacher. So Darren,
So ironically enough, there was a website called Counting Down, not Countdown City Geeks, countingdown.com. And it was a bunch of movie stuff. And that's where I first learned about the fact that they wanted to do a more serious Batman. Because like you mentioned before, the whole Joel Schumacher, like campiness, it started to get more campy as time went on with that series. But I saw the designs for the Batmobile and it looked just like a jet engine. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks incredible. It's like a pencil sketch. And then they started talking about the new director, Darren Aronofsky, and his take on it was like, we want to do Batman Year One, essentially. And then that's what we got with Batman Year 2 or whatever, with what's the director?
Matt Reeves.
Yeah, Matt Reeves. But yeah, that serious take, and I would tell people, I would be like, hey, look, it's coming back, man. You just don't understand. And then Nolan knocked it out of the park. That's when I fell in love with Batman Begins. I was like, oh my God, this is one of the greatest movies ever. And then that cast, like you mentioned, I was like, there's a bunch of names in this thing, and they killed it.
I remember seeing the Weekender. Remember the Weekender in San Antonio, and they had the movie reviews and everything for the weekend. And I remember it had one of the best pictures of the year, 5 stars, like Batman, blah blah. And I was like, whoa, you mean a Batman movie is being named by Ebert as one of the best movies of the year? And I was like, let's watch it. And I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then The Prestige to follow. Like I said, that run he had. Directors would kill to have that run that he had in the 2000s. Like that was disgustingly crazy what he accomplished just in 10 years. And now look at him. He's probably the biggest filmmaker in the world now. I mean,
and think
James
about it.
Cameron.
I mean, it's kind of like what we're talking about now. Like, so Batman was like on a huge lull. Nobody was interested in that IP really until they kind of reinvented it. And then Batman Begins. It's such a great movie. It still didn't make any money at the box office in
Yeah, it
comparison to
was
what everything else made. But then it had time to like seed the public in home video, and then everybody knew about it. And then, of course, the tragedy with Heath Ledger. And then that gave it even more like this weird kind of air to it that people wanted to see it, wanted to see this performance. And I mean, I still remember the time that I was like, man, this is like getting so much publicity and so much hype now. And people know Batman Begins by this point because it had been airing on HBO like around the clock, it seemed. And I was like, man, this is going to make a lot of money. And I told my buddy, I was like, this is the 20,000-pound gorilla in the corner, just breathing heavily, just waiting. I mean, it's going to hit, and it hit, and yeah, everyone became a Batman fan. It all reinvigorated all the fandom all over again. Not to mention you having the Joker back, and then we were all like, nothing's going to top Jack Nicholson, and then Heath Ledger won an Academy Award.
He won an Oscar for that.
It was incredible.
That was insane. That performance, and that Christopher Nolan was like, this is the guy. Like, everybody hated it. Everybody hated Heath Ledger was playing the Joker. Christopher Nolan was like, he has it. He has what it takes to do this performance. And that after I saw that, I was like, I'm never gonna doubt this director ever, because you know what I mean? Like, because I love Batman Begins, and I'm like, you're gonna bring in Heath Ledger to play the Joker? Like, what's Heath? I mean, he's great, but there's no way. And then, and I know a lot of younger people will probably never understand that when that was announced, everybody hated that choice. That was the worst. That was one of the worst casting choices in Hollywood at that point.
Look at that, over 300 million DVD sales.
And I got one of those DVDs. I remember I was like, I came home from school. My mom was like, look what I bought for you. I was like, oh my God. I was really, really happy. Ted didn't hate it. Well, yeah. Well, you Ted liked that Heath Ledger was the Joker. Right. Quick round. David, were you excited that Heath Ledger was the Joker when it was first announced?
Yeah, no one's going to believe me. I mean,
you're going to say yes?
Because I remember Michael Keaton as Batman. I remember they hated that, and I was perplexed. I was like, Beetlejuice is going to play Batman, and they're like, yeah, he's Mr. Mom too. And I'm like, well, I mean, I love Batman. Forget all y'all. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to love it no matter what. And he was great as Batman. So I thought back to that, and I was like, man, this. It might be inspired casting because he's coming off of Brokeback, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think people knew that Heath Ledger was a big old dude. He was a huge guy. And I thought about that too. And I was like, man, if he really brings it, if his take is that great in his casting, I mean, I trust the guy that did Batman Begins, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I remember all the outrage.
Yeah.
All the outrage. And
now
all those people... Yeah,
I didn't like it. I thought it was a horrible choice because, again, I'm going off of Jack Nicholson. I'm going off of like what Jack Nicholson did with that, and then that teaser trailer when you just heard Heath Ledger's voice and the laughter. I remember I was like, "Oh man, I might be 100% wrong," and I was, and I'm so glad I was because
I saw it at the birth city of our podcast, San Marcos at the Starplex.
Oh,
I remember midnight being the exact seat watching that scene when he walked into that room, not the very opening, but that first scene when he walked in there with all the gangsters, and he laughed, and I was like, oh, and I was listening to the audience's reaction. If they were gonna laugh, they were all silent.
I think people just kind of sat up in their chairs like,
and then when he slammed the guy's head in the table with the pencil, you could hear everyone go, oh, that had him like right there. I was like, oh man.
The Odyssey had a similar moment where it was after the reveal, when that arrow flies. I remember the audience just went, oh, like it was just the reaction was so sudden because the violence just comes out of nowhere for that one. Some of us were too young to see Batman Begins. Zach, what are you doing? Get away. Stop reminding us how old you are. Okay, jeez.
Awkward.
I'm not mistaken.
So
wait, when was Zach born?
I don't know.
2020?
2016, something like that.
I was gonna say because that movie came out in 2005, so he was just very, very young when that came out.
Yeah, my daughter was
No,
born
I
in
don't think
2005.
He was born in 2000.
Oh, 2000. Sorry, I showed my wife's younger siblings Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. You know what they said? They're like, "Wow, this looks really good for such an old movie." And I was like,
Aww.
"What does that even mean?" And I was about to murder somebody.
You know the super really old movie called The Empire Strikes Back?
Awkward.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
I also want to point out it wasn't as much, but the anticipation to hear what Adam Driver sounded like as Kylo Ren, that was kind of
That
on
was a
par
big.
because we heard it in that last trailer, and his voice it worked. It worked under the mask. It worked.
I
He sounded
remember
good.
that when he walked up because look how old you become. I was like, "That's a good voice."
No, in
That's
the
a
trailer, in that last
No, I know.
trailer. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he says, I will finish what you started. Nothing will
Yeah.
stand in our way." But I mean, to hear it like fully in the movie, I was really happy with it. I was like, okay, it works 100%. Anyways, what are we talking about? Christopher Nolan, Star Wars? Yes, he should do
Yeah.
Star Wars. And Disney, if you're listening, you should give Christopher Nolan a blank check because he's going to bring in $1 billion movie.
So it's
without
this
any-
or this. It's either they hire Christopher Nolan or they make like a set of like 5 movies that are great to bring it back to where it used to be. You either make one movie or 5 or hope to make 5 great ones.
Isn't that what
I
they've been
think-
trying to do?
That's what
Is make
exactly.
5 great movies, and they're not doing that great at that.
I think you bring in Christopher Nolan, you have him start off the story, and then that's it. Just bring him in to get everyone back. But then here's the problem. You bring in Christopher Nolan, he directs one movie, and you're saying this is episode 1 in this new story, if you may. Everyone's going to be like, okay, he has
It
to come
doesn't
back because
compare.
whoever comes back is not going to compare to what Christopher Nolan just
Yeah.
did. So that is also something you
It's
have
a
to
setup.
consider.
It'll be a setup to fail if he doesn't do the whole thing. It'll be the sequel issue all over again, where it's like there's too many hands in this story.
But I don't think anybody would even be trying to tell Christopher Nolan what to do. I think
No, but I mean, like he does the first one, right? And then
Mhm.
the second one comes around, someone else is producing and directing it, and then you run into that same issue you have with the sequels, where it's like,
Yeah,
this is-
exactly.
it's not consistent. It has to be him to do the entire thing through.
Mm.
If it's 3 movies, he does all 3. If it's 5, he does all 5. But then, do we get fatigued?
Not if it's great. I mean, there's a certain level of fatigue I have with the original trilogy. That's just because I watched that movie probably every single day for 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of hard to watch them now because it's like I've seen these so many times. And unless we're doing trivia or something, I'll watch. But otherwise, it's like it's 2026. There's so many options. We have streaming. We have Blu-rays, 4K.
Yeah. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure The Odyssey is going to be one of those movies I will buy a Blu-ray or DVD for and stuff and just have in my library.
So is it your favorite Nolan movie,
No,
David?
it's great. It's just
Mine. So, trying to figure out how to say this without
I would
getting in
love to
trouble.
hear.
So I was sick one day, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Dunkirk at home, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't love Christopher Nolan like everyone else does, but I'm gonna give this movie a try because I had my own thoughts and feelings about what the movie should look like and be. It wasn't. It was disappointing to start off. And then I started watching it more, and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't like any other like war movie that I've ever seen. And the build-up and the acting and kind of the unexpectedness and just those long shots on like the Spitfires. I was like, somehow this works. Somehow this is like really good. And it was like me as usual, like looking around, like, is anyone else like seeing this? Does anyone else realize how good this movie is? So not until like, I guess 3 years ago, Quentin Tarantino came out and he said that's Nolan's best film, and I totally agree. That's his best film.
I respect
That's his masterpiece.
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I saw it at the River Center Mall in IMAX when it came out, and I remember the Spitfire sequences. That I was like, oh my gosh, this looks tremendously beautiful. Mary, what's your favorite Christopher Nolan movie?
It's hard. I think my instinct is say Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, change my answer. It's Batman Begins. My bad. Then it's Dunkirk. Batman Begins is so obvious to me.
Exactly. That's why it's like my gut reaction is like Batman Begins.
It's like saying, "What's your favorite movie?" and you don't say Star Wars. It's like, no. Star Wars ain't a movie. That's an experience, man. That's not even a movie to me. I'll say other movies. I can't say Star Wars.
Yeah, so, like if Batman wasn't involved because it was Batman and stuff, and it was him, like what he did with it, I would have to say probably Oppenheimer.
That's legit.
Yeah,
I might. I mean, because Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are just tremendously great together, and then in the middle you have The Prestige, which is also just tremendously great. But I will say, watching the Odyssey, watching the pacing, watching the sequences and the story and the buildup, I was like, this is I don't know, I don't want to say it, but it is a near perfect film for me, the Odyssey. With like,
I thought the pacing was slow in the beginning. You thought it was fine?
I thought it was perfect. I thought how it switched between how he's telling the story. It's from different timelines. Which again, he pointed out the book, The Odyssey, does the same thing. Like the Odyssey switches back and forth throughout the whole story. So for him, he was like, it was perfect because he does that all the time with his movies. But
yeah, I can't remember all the way back to 1996 in high school
when you read it. I read it recently. I reread it and anticipation for the movie, and I was like, that's pretty good. But anyways, I will say, the story, of course, the Odyssey is one of the oldest stories ever written down or told. It's such a satisfying ending, and I feel like Nolan just nailed it and killed it with that one. So I might have to say this might be my favorite movie from him.
I'll say one thing I really enjoyed that he did with this is that he used Travis Scott as I'm so serious.
No, it was great.
He says it in an interview.
Like, it just sounds ridiculous.
I know. This is how we used to tell this story.
I didn't even think that was him.
You didn't know that was Travis Scott?
I knew that was him, but it didn't look like him.
No,
the typical way I see him, like online. He looked like he looked like a bigger guy in the movie. I guess because I was watching.
Well, he's standing on a table.
But like his side profile, I don't think I'd ever seen that before.
Oh, really?
And
yeah.
Spoiler alert. That's the first, and just like in the story, that's the first voice you hear is the person telling the story. And so when you hear that, boom, boom, and then it cut, I was like, cool, this is great. This is really good.
Yeah. I thought that was such a great artistic choice to have someone who tells stories through song to start off the movie this way. I thought that was really smart.
And then when they played Fiend in the middle of the movie, that was great.
When they played what?
His like most popular song. There's like a joke online. They played one of his raps.
Yeah.
But okay, I know this was a really long podcast, everybody, but we are all in agreement. Christopher Nolan should direct Star Wars. Will he direct Star Wars? Most likely not. I know, David. But you were in the chat.
Fortune tellers. What if we are psychic right now? And at Star Wars Celebration 2027, Christopher Nolan walks out on stage.
That
So
would bring, like, the building would collapse if he were to do that. Like, no
That's why they're
joke.
doing it in LA. 50th anniversary. We've got Nolan. We've got Nolan. David's face right now.
I mean, I've already foreseen a bunch of different directors come out on stage and talk about the impact that Star Wars has had. That whole thing where you see different people that are super famous on the stage. I wouldn't like discount like seeing Tom Cruise there and
Mm.
Denny Villeneuve with Christopher Nolan on stage and just be there and just acknowledge what the impact Star Wars has had.
That's someone I would never want to see in a Nolan movie. Tom Cruise. Never want to see him in a Nolan movie.
Well, his commitment to the craft and what Nolan's looking for in an actor.
That man needs to retire.
Well, when I spoke to never mind, can I say? Yeah, when I spoke to
Why couldn't you say it, James?
I don't know, it's weird. I didn't mean to say it like that, everybody. But no, when I was speaking to Christopher McQuarrie, I know that sounds really weird to say.
We got photo evidence.
Yeah, he told Ted and I, he was like, I told Tom Cruise, hey, you don't have to do the action star anymore. You can just be the cool guy. You could be the Han Solo in the next movie. Like, you can let someone else be the main crazy star, and you can just kind of hang back and just be the really cool guy. And I was like,
Again,
I can see that. That sounds pretty
that's
good.
why I don't want Tom Cruise in it. Tom Cruise is not a team player.
Oh, speaking of Tom
He's
Cruise,
the guy.
they said this year's nominees for Best Actor, like they're predicting, they said it's got to be between Ryan Gosling, Matt Damon, Timothée Chalamet, and
What?
Tom Cruise.
Who? Wait, who?
Timothée Chalamet. That's how you're supposed to say his name, Timothée. For him doing Dune 3. But yeah, they're saying that they're going to be the main actors for Best Actor this year, which is insane to think about.
I mean, all of those feel very valid.
Matt Damon might win an Oscar for Best Actor. Like,
you know what I learned from this movie? And from
what'd you learn?
Odysseus sucks. He sucks.
Well, the opening line of the poem is "Tell me the story of a complicated man." Like even the translation says, "Tell us a story of the guy who like went through," like it's already described him as he's not supposed to be
hero.
The hero. He only becomes the hero when he gets home. And
all right,
No,
spoiler alert.
Sorry, everybody.
Spoiler alert for the Odyssey. So if you don't want to hear a spoiler, a 3,000-year-old spoiler.
I know, that's
so why did he shoot the Cyclops with the arrow when he was already gone? I didn't get that part.
In the poem, he yells. So there's a lot that Christopher Nolan didn't use from the poem. In the poem, they actually have a dialogue with the Cyclops, right? They're talking to him and he goes, "Oh, what's your name?" And he goes, "My name is Nobody." So then when they blind him, he starts screaming, "Nobody's hurting me. Nobody's hurting me." So the other Cyclopses don't come to aid him and stuff. So, and then Odysseus's like pride and like show offiness when he's leaving, he's like, "My real name is Odysseus, blah, blah, blah. You were maimed by Odysseus," and stuff. And that's their take of doing that, is shooting him in the eye, because they didn't really give the Cyclops a lot of language in this, because then that scene would have to be significantly longer.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And then
so
yeah.
So that way it like creates that effect, because the whole purpose is then the Cyclops is crying because his father is Poseidon, and it goes, "Odysseus blinded me," and stuff. So then he angers Poseidon, and that's what causes all of these other pieces of like the sea is taking them to the certain islands and like not giving them wind and like basically punishing them. He angered Poseidon because he hurt his son. So that's how they were able to do that. But I genuinely, like, as in the story, I looked over at Austin and I was like, what an idiot. Like, he'll pluck his bow for a deer, but he'll do this, like, make it make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the movie, he just randomly shoots them, and I'm like, dude, you already escaped. Why'd you do that?
I think he does it out of anger.
Well, yeah, because he kills.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he takes the ring.
Oh.
And he's like doing it as revenge for his fallen, because this is the first time any of his people going home are being killed.
True story.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No,
True
it's a
fictitious
myth.
story.
The truest fictitious story there is.
But I will say there was one part of the movie that made me go, huh, okay, we're just going to not address that at all. Spoiler alert, everybody. If you've listened this far and you haven't seen the Odyssey, just turn it off right now. But it's in the book, but they didn't really show it, which is what he does to all the servants after he comes back to power, all the ones who betrayed his wife and everything. And what I mean is Mia Goth just kind of goes underneath the table, and then we never see what happened to Mia Goth during the slaughter and all that.
Star Wars
she's
actor
never
Mia
shown.
Goth.
Yeah. And I was like, we got out of the movie and I'm like, wait a minute. It's like they didn't show what happened to
She's dead.
her.
She's dead.
But yeah, and I think that was, and I heard that the editor, I forgot what her name was, a tremendously talented editor. They told them IMAX projection cannot project for 3 hours straight. So you need to make this movie under 3 hours because the projection cannot just keep pumping out IMAX images for 3 hours straight. So she had to go in and shave off a lot, which is why the movie's 2 hours and like 52 minutes, which is really funny. And her thing was, if it doesn't add to the story, if it doesn't do anything for the story, it is gone. Like if a single look doesn't do it, it's gone. And so I'm pretty sure, like watching the editing that ending sequence, she said, okay, we don't really need to know what happened to her. You just know that she's out there now. And we'll let you figure that out. So
I think one of my favorite scenes, spoiler alert, in this movie.
Spoilers.
Spoiler
alert. My favorite is
3,000 years.
3,000 spoiler alert. When he's telling Penelope like the stories and stuff of like the people from across the sea who have broken Zeus's laws and stuff. And then he comes to realize it's him. And then he reaches out to touch Athena's hand. And they're both just emotionally done and crying at this point where they find this healing moment in like just telling the truth of like, we did this. This is our mistake and our guilt that we have to live with. And stuff, because in the poem, Athena is the one who gives him the idea of the Trojan horse because she also hates the city of Troy because Paris claimed Aphrodite was the most beautiful god and stuff. So like in the poem, Athena has jealousy and reason to be like, forget Troy. Let's go in there. This is what you got to do, bruh. And gives him the idea. So Athena also carries part of that guilt, which you can kind of see in this movie because she walks with him throughout it and is like, why do you carry the guilt of the gods and stuff, and that's how they address it a little bit.
I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company out there, distributor called TSG Entertainment, and people are now just realizing
that's Odysseus.
They're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, how did you never know that? I've been saying that since like high school. Like when I forget what movie I saw, I was like, oh, Odysseus, cool. I don't know. It was just really weird that people were like, oh, now it all makes sense. But that was my favorite part though. That moment.
People's realization.
That was no. I meant that sequence in the movie when he
strings the bow.
God, I just in my brain, I'm like, I have an idea. Uh-oh.
Is it bad?
and on that note, just kidding.
My boy, Matt.
No. What?
Is it bad that the entire time the suitors were trying to string the bow, I was like, bend the bow. You've seen him do it. He doesn't pull the string.
I was thinking that too, but I mean,
the bow. We all know this.
Use your legs. Use the floor. I mean,
bend.
I loved Antonius. Like when Antonius saw it, I was like, oh, he immediately was like, uh-oh, and he tries to get out of there. That was. I remember it. Like I kind of sat forward in my seat, and like a couple of other people near me were like, also like, all right, this is what we've been waiting for, and oh my gosh, that was perfect. It was perfect. And then they all start bowing down, and because they're just like, we cannot fight this.
We're
guy.
not gonna win this.
This is so good. It was great.
I love when he puts the the tally thing.
Oh,
What was it called?
yeah, the thing for
When they draw the sticks to see who's going to go and who isn't. And he shoves it in his mouth and he's like, take your shame and stuff. And I was like, yes, tell him.
So good. It was great.
Mhm.
Anyways.
But the more important question, would Filoni bend the knee to Nolan?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I think
Absolutely
Filoni,
not.
I think Filoni and company should be seeing the numbers coming in, should be seeing the popularity, and maybe should be like, all right, if we'll look at the script, obviously, but let's let him do what he wants to do. You know, Kathleen Kennedy did that for Tony Gilroy. I think Filoni could do that for Christopher Nolan.
I think he could. I think he's also going to be like, well, this doesn't really fit into X, Y, and Z. Because that's Filoni's big thing is like, how does this fit into the story? How does this fit into Star Wars? He's too much about the rhythm and like the algorithm of Star Wars. Hey, Kit.
I'm sorry, guys.
She can hear me. Can she hear me? Hi, Kit.
No, she can't hear you, but she's hearing something in the
Sad.
hallway. But anyways.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, and I texted my brothers today. I was like, The Pest might win Best Supporting Actor this year.
You know, I never liked John Leguizamo until I saw his performance in Chef.
Yeah,
Really?
he was really.
He was always kind of like not funny and kind of annoying.
I will say he did have a shtick that he would kind of default to. But one thing I learned about John Leguizamo is he's very smart. Like he's a very, very smart man. And he did a whole series about the history of Mexico and America throughout the years.
Yes.
And I was like, he was telling the story and I'm like, I never knew any of this stuff. And he was telling that story. And then he did I forget what movie he did. And I was like, that's a different John Leguizamo. Oh, it was, oh my gosh, it was a Santa Claus movie with David Harbour with Santa Claus. Oh, Violent Night. Yeah, it was Violent Night, which is
Violent Night.
Like, yeah, where he played the villain, but I was like, dude, he's doing a great job as a villain. Like he was terrifying, and that was around the time I said, oh, he's a pretty great actor. Of course, he was in Romeo and Juliet, and just killed it in that movie, and then Moulin Rouge. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm a fan of his, but this movie like really showed his acting chops, and he's most likely going to get a nomination and probably will win, just depending on who else is going up for Best Supporting Actor this year. So
I own the movie.
Which one? Yeah. You forgot what it was called. You own the movie. It's actually a really sweet Christmas movie, which is really weird, but it's a pretty cute movie.
They're making a sequel.
Yeah, but he's not going to be in there, so I don't know if I want to watch it now. And David Harbour's name isn't what it used to be, so
why do you say that?
It's not. David Harbour used to be a name, and then now he's just that dude. Marvel Doomsday, am I right? Let's talk about Doomsday. I'm just joking.
All right, it's time for the next hour. We're going to talk about Doomsday. All right. I love the trailer, guys. I don't know why you guys do not like this trailer. It was so good.
James, what did you do? Why'd you?
I was just joking. All right, we can end the podcast now. All right.
No, we're gonna go for another hour. So Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. Mary, your thoughts?
Unlikable.
Oh gosh!
I'm gonna bring my other microphone in here to do it too. Okay.
You know what it is? I'm tired. I'm tired of Robert Downey Jr.
How could you be tired of
and
Dr. Doom?
I'm tired of Chris Hemsworth. I'm tired. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Well, that's too. And Mikey's over there going, "Well, that's too damn bad. You're getting them all back."
It's like, you guys. I've said this once. I'll say it again. All this is happening like 3 hours. What did they say it was going to be? 3 hours and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
It's like something really.
We haven't seen him in 7 years.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And this is what I told David in the group. I said the first hour is literally going to be them saying, this is how Dr. Doom is involved in everything you've seen already. So we're going to retcon everything you have
Thanks
watched.
a lot, Jonathan Majors.
and then now we're gonna start the movie.
What?
This is
And I'm
why
not
people
gonna lie,
need to learn to keep
Jonathan
their hands to
Majors
themselves.
If
is
that
the big
woman
reason.
hadn't entered Jonathan Major's life, we wouldn't have gotten
Stop
Doomsday.
it!
Wow.
How
This is
dare
almost
you?
this is almost like the whole what was it? How 9/11 led to Ellen DeGeneres' downfall. Like that is the greatest. You never heard that before?
No.
So true story. You ready for this?
All
So,
right,
No!
story time.
The level of tangents today. We're all tired. We need to go take a nap.
It's a great way to how 9/11 led to Ellen DeGeneres no longer being on the air.
Oh.
Anyways, I am not excited for this movie. I am excited only for two things in this film. It's Ian McKellen as Magneto, and then oh my god, I forgot his name, but Shang-Chi is back. And I
Simu
thought
Liu.
Yes. I thought that movie was I'm still shocked that movie didn't get a lot of praise that it should have, because I thought it was
It
way
actually
better than Black Panther.
did.
It
I've
did.
heard a lot of people like, that was a great film. They need
I
to
think
do a
it's one of
sequel.
I think it's one of Marvel's best movies they ever did was that movie. Like it
Hmm,
was
okay.
I thought it was 10 times better than Black Panther.
Well, they gave
Like,
the director a Spider-Man movie to make.
which is why I'm going to go watch that one. But those are the only two reasons why I'm excited for this movie.
Those
Magneto
end credits gave me so
and
much hope
Shang-Chi.
for that movie. I was excited for it. I love Aquafina. I think she's great.
Aquafina's great, yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie better. I want to be amazed. I want to be surprised. But the
You
trailer
won't be.
did nothing for me. And I feel like Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is Disney saying like, look, we got Robert Downey Jr. back. Isn't that cool? You liked him, right? Yeah. And it's like, no, like he did his thing. It was
No.
incredible. It was
All right,
no,
James,
it was
I'll tell you like this. So I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and
what year?
in 2019.
Oh, okay, fair.
So Endgame was in theaters. It was the second weekend or third weekend. I'm not sure. So I went to go see Endgame there twice in the theater. So once I think was by myself, and then the next time was with my coworkers. It was a company trip.
Yeah.
So the thing about Atlanta is the minorities are the majority. So it was mostly like we were the only like light-skinned people in there, me and my coworkers. Everyone else was African American, okay? So when they do like the montage at the end, people were clapping for like Jeremy Renner. And I was like, oh, we're going to get a big pop for Black Panther. We got a pop. But then at the very end, I kid you not, people went hysterical over Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And
Everyone
I was
loves
like,
him.
Iron Man? You cheer more for Iron Man than anyone else, especially Black Panther? I was like, oh my God, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, you remember what Christopher Nolan said. He said Robert Downey Jr.'s casting as Iron Man is one of the most important castings in the history of cinema. Like that was such a monumental moment for him and for cinema in general, was Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. And it was great. He had a hell of a run. It was amazing. You're going to bring him back and play Dr. Doom.
He's
You
playing
ran
a
out of
totally
ideas.
different character. He wants the challenge of playing
I don't care. It looks
Victor Von Doom from Latveria.
any other actor. I mean, my favorite joke of all time is the Russo brothers telling their assistant, give me the guy from call up the guy from Oppenheimer. And the assistant was just this PA who just started that day and goes, okay. And he just like Googled Oppenheimer and saw Robert Downey Jr. Goes, oh, that's who they want. And they just said, here's his number. And they were like, all right, we might as well just call him. They were wanting to get Cillian Murphy, and the assistant messed up and got Robert Downey Jr. That's my thinking. It's a bad joke. But anyways, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is great. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is I think it's such a grasp. It's such a reach for Disney to try to bring people back in. And I don't know. I know, David, you're super disappointed. And I know the listeners are like, what is James on? But yeah, that is my thinking.
It's the greatest reach, just like when he reached out and high-fived me in Hall H.
And that's all that's what you're holding on to, was that moment. You high-fived him. When they
We
announced.
locked eyes, and he said, yes, I will high-five you.
No, that's terrible. But I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you got to be there. You got to see that. You got to experience that moment. But I think I think it was a horrible decision on Disney's part to bring him.
And then
back.
I got to talk to the director, Anthony Russo. And it was weird and fantastic.
It's weird. Why was it weird?
He was like, okay, so what's your favorite movie of mine? I'm like, okay, Anthony Russo, I'll tell you. I mean, we had other discussions prior to that.
Oh,
but
okay. I thought he was just
he busted out with, what's your favorite movie of mine? I'm like that
one
Infinity
episode
War?
of Community. That one episode of Community was really good. Just kidding.
And then, so I tell him Infinity War, and he goes, so not Endgame. Tell me why. And I had to explain to him.
It was a better movie. That's what I would have said. I would have just said
Endgame sucked.
Infinity War was so much better than Endgame. But what did you say?
And then Ted was right there, and Ted goes, Endgame. And he goes, wait a minute, Winter Soldier. I think that's how it happened. I don't know if Ted's watching, but yeah, it was great. Hopefully we go back on Saturday night to the same spot where he was before.
There. And you show him the
it's
picture.
Insane that nobody else does this. But
well, now everyone's going to do it because you're saying it right now.
Well, I'm not saying exactly what to do, but
okay.
Incredible.
And on that note, thank you all so much for listening to the Star Wars podcast, where we talked about everything but Star Wars. No, we did. We brought Star Wars in.
No, it had Star Wars ties.
We brought some Star Wars in. Check us out on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod. And we
Adam Driver.
We did talk about Mia Goth and Adam Driver. We did, yeah. So we did bring him back in. Check us out on X
Cinema
Pod.
Adam Driver.
Check us out on Patreon if you want to listen to us talking
Ryan
about just
Gosling.
random stuff. It's fun. We have fun on Patreon. I hear you. I just want you to know. So does everyone else. Check us out on TikTok. We have a Star Wars Stuff podcast TikTok. If you want to email
Villeneuve.
Oops. If you want to email David, it's at starwarstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Pitch him all your movie
Dave
ideas.
Filoni.
He would love to hear them. Also, we have a Facebook group and a Facebook
Rick McCallum
page. And we didn't mention Rick McCallum at all.
We were going to talk about it because he is at the Lucas Museum walking around
right now. Should I go see him?
I think so. Like, peep outside your window, James.
Oh yeah, we're all going.
Yeah, we're all be going soon.
When we're all there.
Oh, he has to be there. He doesn't have to be, but I would really like for him to be there. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The greatest yes man producer in the history of Hollywood was Rick McCallum. Like he was the greatest yes man that George Lucas could have ever asked for. If you're listening to us on Apple, give us a 5-star rating as well as a review, please. Let us know how Mary is doing. And we also have a website, starwarstuffpodcast.com. A few little news articles in there and other stories. And yeah, we have fun on there. And once again, thank you so much for listening. And David will be at Countdown City will be at San Diego Comic-Con this week. So David, we're going to be in the same time zone. That's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince James to come with me to go have lunch with you guys.
What day?
What are you going to do that?
Maybe Wednesday.
With this
not breakfast?
Oh yeah, probably breakfast. I don't know. It just depends on timing.
All right, I need to ride from the airport.
Oh my god! I'm not going.
Oh gosh!
You know, LAX is one of those airports that you just say,
he's
"Hey,
not
man."
going into LAX. He's going to San Diego.
Oh well, then why do you need a ride?
To my hotel.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna drive all the way down to San Diego, pick you up in the airport.
If you're gonna be there for breakfast, I'll be there breakfast time.
Which Wednesday?
What? This Wednesday, the day after
2
tomorrow.
days from now, right? A day from now?
I work.
What time do you work?
Like,
I don't think we have to do this on the live, but it's
we're not going to do this on the live. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back again with another great topic. Check us out on Instagram because David will be posting all the new stuff that's happening at San Diego Comic-Con.
I'll try and post as much as possible.
Please, because we need that stuff. And it's, as Countdown City Geek says, it's riveting. Riveting. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. And on behalf of Mary and David, I am James. May the force be with you always.
Dewanga.
I have spoken.
Pew pew pew.
McClunky.